Hey there viewers, this is Mike and I'm back to my old tricks again. I'm looking at Vast and Mysterious Manor today, but not showing the official solo mode, which just features the Paladin character running around trying to kill poltergeists while being chased by dragons. Instead, perhaps unwisely, I took it upon myself for this 5-player asymmetric game to design an automa for all 5 of the roles. And what I'm going to show you today is actually not a solo play, although you could now play solo with any of the roles and have the other ones filled in by the automa. But actually I'm going to show you a 0-player playthrough because I want to kind of walk through what each automa does. And I'll be straightforward with this one right up front. This is a game that has a lot of interconnected pieces and a lot of players being able to kind of knock down a leader when they're running away with it. The automa's not going to pay attention to much of that, so this might be a very swingy play that you'll be watching. And the other big thing to note is that the automa rules, which are in this video and also going to be posted on BGG, they give general behaviors and suggestions and priorities for each player, but a lot of it will still be up to kind of the player to determine. So it's not like a little spreadsheet or flowchart you can just go down and act out the turn. Well, let's jump right into the playthrough and go through what the automa does faction by faction. I think that's easier than trying to explain kind of the rules for all of them all at once. And if you like the content from the One Stop Co-op Shop, if you want to tell Mike, hey, keep on doing these solo variants, feel free to join our Discord and chat with us there. You can listen to our weekly podcast, check out our separate streaming channel, or support us on Patreon for perks like early access to our videos and suggesting games we might play. So like I said, there are 5 characters in the base game and they have a set player order. We're going to start with the Paladin, and his primary goal is to hunt down this giant spider and hit it 5 times. If he does that, he immediately wins. And each character has their own player board, sometimes some cards, sometimes a spinner. In this case, the Paladin's got grit. He's going to earn this by defeating certain enemies and by exploring the mysterious manor. And he's got these hero cubes, starts with 3. Those are his actions and will also determine how high his attack and defense are for when he attacks people when he gets attacked. And raising up his grit will give him more of the cubes and will also unlock these special ability cards. For the automa, they always get to the same 2 cards in the same order because a lot of the rest of them would have increased the decision space too far. The Paladin's also got these 2 resources, Light and Fury, and he can use them for some effects based on the 2 cards that he always starts in play with. Basically, Light can get rid of the spider's webs and also be left as lamps to slow down the skeletons, which are trying to kill him. You'll see them in a second. And Fury can be used to bash holes in walls so he can get to the spider, and also to increase his attack. And the Paladin's AI is one of the most straightforward. He'll check whether his amount of hero cubes can possibly get him to successfully hit the spider. In this case, not at all. He's only got 3 hero cubes. They usually let him move only 1 space, and then he needs more to do the actual attack. And clearly this is a wall. You'll see that open edges get these dark tiles, these face down tiles. So the Paladin, without Fury to break through the wall, could only go this way or this way right now. No way he can reach the spider. So if he can't do that, he instead switches to Hunt AI, which means he must end his turn closer to the spider if possible, but besides that, he's going to be hunting for the most grit to try to level up. And his 3 actions, again, each one requiring a cube. Crusade lets him move up to 1 space, and then he can attack wherever he is. Sprint lets him move up to 2 spaces, but it has to be through lit tiles, and he can't go onto enemies that he usually attack that way. And Prepare just gives him +1 strength and defense. He'll need that to fight anybody. So right now he wants to explore some dark tiles, so that's going to be Crusading. And I have some basic preferences for which way he goes when things are tied, like he wants to avoid the skeletons that are trying to kill him. But right now everything is totally equal, so I'll just roll off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here he goes. Oh, and this is kind of a lucky one for him. This is going to spawn a poltergeist that he can attack to gain even more grit. And you get to rotate new tiles. They have to match up with an open edge of an adjacent tile if possible, although it wouldn't have to be the edge you came from. And for the Paladin, he wants to open up a path to the spider, of course, but he wants to have walls towards the skeletons and their spawn points. You can kind of see one over here, so they can't reach him too easily, so bam. And this poltergeist pops up and he has to fight it. Poltergeists have 1 defense as a default. And he needs to exceed that with his strength. Each cube in Prepare gives him 1 strength and 1 defense. So he now has 2 strength for the rest of the turn. He can kill the poltergeist and get the grit from it. And also, if the skeletons could reach him, but they can't, he would have 2 defense and they would have to get 3 strength to hurt him because that's their goal, to knock his health all the way down. And he got 2 grit for revealing a tile, 3 for destroying a poltergeist. That is 5 total. 7 gets him his next hero cube, so he's doing it great already. And you always fill in dark tiles for new open edges, so he'll be able to get closer to the spider. And each time he successfully hits an enemy, he gets a light, so he'll be able to leave lamps and stop webs soon. And he gets a fury at the end of each of the rounds where he didn't hit the spider to kind of build up his strength to attack later. Alright, Faction 2 are the Skeletons. As I said, they're trying to defeat the Paladin, hit him 7 times. And they've got up to 5 Skeletons they can bring into play. They'll be spawning them as the game progresses, but they start with a random assortment of 2. They've got Casty, who can put down these little skulls to help them attack harder, and Screamy, who can scream at other Skeletons to get them moving more. And they have this spawn die to randomly say which little spawn point they come out of. In this case, we have 3 and 4. And they have this stability counter that they use to activate their special powers, and also they can spend 3 at the end of their turn to summon a new skeleton. And at the start of the turn, if they're in a lit tile that is not a pit, the light basically weakens them and they lose stability. That's not happening, of course, at the beginning. And then you have to activate them from left to right. So Cassie's going to go first, and then Screamy, and they can move up to 5 spaces, being stopped by many things like combat or webs or lamps, and they can do 1 action. And the Skeleton AI is similar to the Paladin in that if the player running them can see that they can hit the Paladin, they will all move to do so. But any Skeletons that can't do that, they'll first try to loot. They can get to these little armory spaces, and those will give them power-ups. And if they can't do that, they do an action I call Menace. They're basically trying to get toward the center to try to be near the Paladin without being too vulnerable to him, so they can try to jump him the next turn. But for this turn, both Casty and Screamy can't hurt the Paladin, and they want to arm up. You draw a gear card each time you go to the armory. I've selected 1 for each skeleton. That works well for solo, so those are the only ones you'll use. So we've got Slashy's Great Axe. If the skeleton's not in play yet, it just kind of sits to the side, and the automa will play it once the skeleton is summoned. And Stabby's Leather Boots. So absolutely nothing for the characters I actually have, but that's okay. Then they could summon a new skeleton if they had 3 stability. They'll always do that if able, but here they can't. And then they gain 2 stability. So next turn, they should be able to get their 3rd skeleton in play. And by the way, very important, you didn't see this yet. Each skeleton only has 1 strength. Remember, right now the Paladin has 2 defense, so you need 3 strength to actually hit him. But for every orthogonally adjacent tile that has at least 1 skeleton, or cackling skulls that the sorcerer can put down, they get +1 strength. So basically they need to surround the Paladin sometimes to get their hits in. Okay, and next we get to the giant spider. This was the toughest automa for me to do, because the spider actually switches between 3 different forms with different capabilities and different movement and all this stuff. So I just said, forget it. They're always a giant spider, but I kind of grabbed in abilities from the other ones so they can still do the stuff they're supposed to do. And for the actual giant spider, they have this deck of power cards that has 3 different types. Eyes to reveal tiles, webs to put down webs, and fangs to hurt people with. But to make the automa run more smoothly, I just take their spirit value, which is normally how many cards they draw, and the giant spider's movement value, which is 3 spaces every turn for free, and I combined it into 6 generic cards. These are just placeholders. You don't care what they say on the front. You're just going to discard those as the spider moves and takes actions to keep track of how much you can do in the round. And the spider's main preference, first and foremost, is to be fairly far away from the Paladin. How I've made the automa work is they want to be more tiles away from the Paladin than half their hero cubes rounded up. So right now they've got 3, that means 2 hero cubes, so the spider wants to be at least 3 tiles away from the Paladin. 1, 2, 3. He's already safe, and that means the spider is going to feel free to terrorize. So what is the spider trying to do? Their victory condition is a little bit different. Remember, the Paladin's trying to kill them. They're trying to increase their terror all the way to 12, and then they're trying to get out of the manor by going through the entrance that the Paladin started on. So how do they get terror? The main way is through getting blood. They can get that from exploring the manor. Some tiles will give them blood. They get it from attacking figures like the paladins and other people like the skeletons. That gives them blood. And finally, they can lay these eggs and put both webs and blood on them. And once they get 6 tokens on them, they hatch, and that gives them 2 terror. But they can also put down webs to slow people down. So like I said, they're kind of more complicated. But the automa breaks down pretty simply. They want to get as much blood as possible. They want to stay away from the paladin. So here they're going to explore with 1 card, because for the giant spider, every 1 card lets them flip 2 adjacent tiles. The 2 that are further away from the paladin. Okay, and they found a shrine, which gives the paladin free light or fury, and another shrine. And they want to angle the tiles to let them get as far from the paladin as possible. And again, the spider gets 3 free moves a turn, and they can cross 1 wall a turn. But I just simplified it by giving them more cards, and each card is also a move. So I guess these are equidistant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they're going this way. And now they reveal again, because they don't have much else to do with these cards. Okay, they got a pit. That gives basically some teleportation powers to the skeletons, and they can be on there without losing their stability. And here they go. They're happy about this. They got a blood token. So first of all, a token goes on there. If they can move there, they will pick up that blood. But secondly, every time they explore one of those, they gain a blood. And 3 blood can be discarded at the start of their turn to raise terror. But again, it can also be used to hatch eggs. And speaking of eggs, we're at the egg check step of their turn. When they're down to 3 cards, they're always going to look at their situation. And if they've reached that magic distance from the Paladin, they're going to lay an egg by spending 2 cards. And they want to put it on a lit tile farther from the Paladin, and they always want to put it with blood if they can, because that's going to help the egg hatch faster. And eggs hatch with webs and blood, so they have 1 card left. They can place 2 webs on adjacent tiles with 1 card. They're going to put them both on the egg. It's now halfway to hatching. You need 6 tokens, although you can only have 3 webs on a given space, so it'll need at least 3 blood to finish it up. And finally, the giant spider does something that's borrowed from the sorcerer role, because again, it's not switching forms. It does the tend action at the end of its turn. Basically, if it has any blood, it uses it to put them on eggs. And that would happen to every egg on the board if there was more than 1. So not bad, giant spider. You got an egg partially hatched. And at the end of the spider's turn, it's going to draw 3 cards plus its current spirit value, so 6 for next turn. You're going to have 6 actions again. All right, moving right along, 2 rolls left. These last ones are kind of the weird ones, because you've seen sort of the triumvirate that is the core game. The Paladin chasing the spider, the skeletons chasing the Paladin, the spider is trying to escape. Whereas the Manor and the Warlock are kind of interacting with all of them. The Manor's main thing is that it can move around tiles and reveal them and place treasures and all this stuff, and they basically mess around with the layout of the Manor. But their victory condition is to take their little ghostly wraith and have him create unobstructed movement opportunities for these seal cards that will earn him seals. And if he gets to 14, he wins the game. Now, to keep things simple, I just had him always start on the entrance. And normally he would have a hand of 3 rituals, and he could try to pursue any of them. But to keep the AI a little bit simpler to figure out for the human player, he just flips up 1, and he's going to try his best to complete this card. Now, in some ways, that's a disadvantage for the automa, because he only has 1 card to choose from, but he never has to waste any actions drawing more cards. He'll always have 1 available. And how you read these cards, you can rotate them however you want. He needs to go through the indicated tiles. They have to be lit, revealed, they have to have no walls impeding his movement, and there can't be any enemy figures in them, so it can be tough. But for the automa, he just does the best he can to try to set them up. So here it looks like he's going to start with like blip, 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 and we'll see if he can actually make that happen. And he's got these 3 omen cubes he can take actions with, and I tried to figure out a way to like automate this, but there really isn't any way. The player just has to kind of figure out what they think is the best way to do things. So in this case, really, he just needs to reveal a ton of tiles, because there's way too much nothing between him and his goal. So remember, he's trying to go blip, 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 kind of like that. So he first reveals this one, and oh no, it's not even going to help him fulfill his pattern. Well, he can adjust by moving everything over 1. Let's see how this works. That one will be okay. And then that one is fine. Now, I have the automa keeping the card. It might give too much information to the players, but I figure if he was close to getting a seal, it would just be a bummer if he had to draw a new one. And then at the end of each of his turns, he has to place a treasure. And treasures are attractive for every other player. If the Paladin gets them, the automa gains grit. If the skeletons get them, they get more stability to summon more skeletons. If the spider gets them, it helps it get more terror. Now, the Warlock automa is in sort of a unique position in that its actions are often helping or hurting lots of players. So I have this whole chart in the automa rules that kind of determines which player is ahead or which is winning. Right now, nobody scored any points for their victory, so he's just going to put the treasure as far from everybody as possible. It has to go on a dark tile. And finally, we get to our 5th roll, the Warlock, and after this, we can kind of ramp up the speed of the playthrough a bit. So the Warlock's pretty wacky, just like the Manor. He wants to get next to other enemy figures and siphon curses, basically take energy from them. And then he wants to get to or create poltergeists and treasures on the board, and he puts curses underneath these guys, and whenever he has enough curses underneath a piece, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, he can move that piece and all the curses to that space. He unlocks a new power. He's basically dominated that piece. You can even get him more action cubed, because he only has 3 magic cubes, 3 actions a turn to start. And he wins by getting 5 pieces dominated, filling all of these squares. But if people move on to where the Warlock is, he can't be fought, just like the Ghost in the Manor. But he loses half his curses and he kind of gets knocked away. But every time that happens, his little spell track moves up. Same thing if somebody runs in and steals a treasure that he was cursing. And I've got 6 spells picked out in the automa rules that still function pretty well, don't require as many choices from the player. So if you don't mess with the Warlock, he'll just dominate the pieces and win. But if you do, you're actually giving him more spells and more powers. And like a lot of the other figures, the Warlock kind of has 2 choices. If he has 3 or more curses, he's going to try to create or get next to treasures and poltergeists to curse them on the following turn, because he curses at the start of his turn and then uses actions. But if he doesn't have many curses yet, he tries to get next to a bunch of enemy figures and then uses Siphon ability. And he actually gets to come in on a dark space or pit or crypt. Those are unplaced tile spaces, wherever he wants. He's going to be here next to these 3 enemy figures. And then he's going to go ahead and siphon. He's getting 3 curses each time. and he wants to get to as many curses as he can, so he'll get to 6. But he generally tries to save his last action to sneak away, because remember, if enemies move onto him, he loses half his curses. So in this case, he wants to be as far from figures as possible, but he can only move 2 spaces. But he also wants to move towards treasures and such, so I guess he'll go down to here. Alright, that is the first turn for every automa. Let's accelerate things a bit and see how they go. Alright, so Paladin's still got 3 actions that he'll gain his 4th in a second, and he is going to place a lamp in a moment. I'll talk about how he decides to do that. He still can't get to the spider and hit it this turn, so he's going to be trying to get closer while also gaining grit. So first we'll take the Crusade action, moving to here. But I mentioned light and lamps. During his turn, the Paladin can put these on empty lit spaces, and they basically will stop any skeleton that moves onto them. They'll remove the token, but they'll have to stop their movement. And to keep the automa putting these down in ways that could eventually mess with the skeletons, whenever he moves out of a tile that only has 2 exits, so basically like it's a nice little intersection that they might have to move through, he'll leave one behind. Alright, so first action, Crusading, it's just a pit. But remember, every revealed tile gets him 2 more grit, and he's got a 4th hero cube every turn. Alright, these are equidistant, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he'll go that way. And it's a blood tile. Normally we would put a blood token there, but whenever pretty much any figure moves onto an enemy's token, they get rid of one of them. He's up to 9 grit now. Alright, no Crusade one more time, certainly this way toward the spider. Ooh, but it's going to lead him down the wrong path a bit. He'll go that way. But don't forget he can spend Fury, which he has 1 of currently, to just make little holes in walls and move through them. Gets him to 11 grit. Now he has 1 cube left, but right now he has 0 defense, so any spider could incredibly easily kill him. So anytime he's about to end his turn with 0 and he has spiders nearby, he's going to prepare to get at least 1 defense set up. And he gains another Fury since he didn't hit the spider. Alright, skeletons, Casty and then Screamy, let's check if they can hit him. And they can indeed, so they'll do it in the most efficient way possible. Casty will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And Cassie is now adjacent to the Paladin. The wall doesn't matter, so it's going to give a +1 strength to every other skeleton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Screamy can get in there. He has 1 strength inherent to himself. 1 from Casty. That's enough to beat the Paladin's 1 defense. Now, it does cost them 1 stability each time they attack, so they're down to 3, but still enough to get a 3rd skeleton. And also, skeletons are brittle. He goes away and respawns on the 1 spot. And the Paladin's down to 6 life. The skeletons are the first ones on the board. And even better for them, they have 0 stability after spending 3. But they're getting Stabby, who can spend a stability when he hits a Paladin to make the Paladin lose grit, basically unlevel. And Stabby's got leather boots. He can move at 6 per activation instead of 5. Nice, Stabby. And don't forget to gain 2 at the end of the round. Alright, now the spider is definitely too close for comfort. The Paladin has 4 hero cubes who wants to get at least 3 tiles away. 1, 2, 3, and he would prefer to go over the wall if he can, so that it's tougher for the Paladin to reach him, or at least theoretically tougher. It's not really in this case. But he has 6 cards, so he doesn't have to do that yet. He wants to get as much blood as he can. He wants to put webs on that thing. So first he'll go ahead and use 1 card to do the Fangs action. It would let him attack 2 figures that are adjacent to him, regardless of walls and such. And for each one he hits, he gets a blood. And he doesn't need strength. He can always hit anybody. The Paladin won't hurt. It's just kind of like dinging off his armor. But he'll knock Casty, who immediately respawns in one of the 6 spots, and will get a blood for himself. Where are you going, Casty? Oh, 1! Down here on the left with Screamy. Now, his second action, he always wants the most webs possible on his eggs. Boom. And by the way, the spider can get rid of 6 webs from the board to also raise terror. He's going to place 1 there. He has 1 more. He always wants to mess up the Paladin's movement. Now that guy can't dash through and get to him quickly. Okay, he has nothing else to do, so he's going to move up. He has nothing else to do again. He's going to check. He has 3 cards. He is barely far enough away from the Paladin, but he doesn't have any revealed spaces farther away to put an egg. So he's not going to do an egg this turn. He'll spend a card to reveal. Okay, we got a Poltergeist there, and just a Pit. And he's got 2 cards left, more than enough to get away, so he's going to go ahead and eat that Poltergeist for another blood. And he's got 1 card left, and he prefers to move over walls while still getting away from the Paladin. So there we go. And the spider's getting on the board too. He can spend 1 of his 2 blood. That gets it to 3 blood, 3 webs. This egg hatches. He's up to 2 terror now. And terror changes his statistics. In this case, he still has the same defense. The Paladin would have to do 3 damage to hit him. But now he's getting a 7th card every turn, so he'll be able to do 1 more action. All right, now our silly little Manor. Let's see what the best way he can complete this is. Let's see. If he could go boom, 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 he'd have to get the Paladin out of the way. He'd have to rotate this. He'd have to get this revealed. But it's at least possible. Does he have enough cubes to do that? And the answer is definitely not. You know what, I was thinking about adding a rule where they redraw if they get a 3 seal card on the first turn. I'm going to do that, so let's see what else they could do. There we go, that's much easier. This looks potentially doable. In fact, if they move themselves over here 1 and reveal that, they're good to go. So they reveal one, move themselves, and whenever they have extra cubes, I have them place walls just to mess up the other players. We've got a Poltergeist that would mess him up because he can't do his little patterns, his rituals into where figures are. But the Manor, even in multiplayer play, has a special rule that he can place Poltergeist wherever he wants. But in this case, he doesn't really want to help anybody, so he'll put it over here where maybe the Paladin will never go get it. Okay, then he can move up to 3 spaces. He'll go right here, and then how the ritual works is he just goes, and he teleports there. He places a Poltergeist on the indicated space, and he scores the seals, in this case 1 out of 14 needed to win, and he also gains a blue Portent cube, in this case a shift cube, and that gives him a free shift action every turn. Basically, he has a 4th cube that always goes there. And yeah, I'm definitely going to redo the rules that he always starts with one of these, because otherwise it can just be too tough for him. Okay, remember he has to place the treasure chest. Okay, the skeletons are over there, so that would be way too easy for them to get. The Paladin and the Warlock are the only ones who haven't scored yet. But remember, his first preference is to help nobody, so I think all the way over here is probably what he would pick. All right, now, how about the Warlock? He wants to get more curses. He wants to get next to things where he can conjure them himself. He's got a Poltergeist and a treasure down here. Yikes. So yeah, there's kind of a perfect storm here. He's going to spend 2 actions siphoning again. Wow, he's got 10 curses. Then he'll go 1, 2 over here. At the start of his next turn, he can put these down and maybe get some more stuff. But now we're back to the Paladin with 4 hero cubes. He does have Fury to break through this wall. But there's a web there, so he can only move 1 space. He couldn't sprint 1, 2. So he can go 1, sprint, and then get in there if he spends 1 Fury. Would he have enough left to actually hurt the spider? 1 to get in there, 1 to get in there, 1 to attack, plus 1 strength. But he only have 1 Fury left because he would have broken the wall. So no, he can't quite get to the spider this turn to hit it. But it was close. So in that case, he's back to his hunt. He wants to get closer to the spider while gaining grit and messing up other players. So he'll go here. That's fine. And he goes to 13 grit. He gets one of his cards. And the first one he always gets is Radiant Lamps. Skeletons cannot tunnel to a pit tile with a lamp on it. And once he has this, he likes to leave lamps on pits as well. All right, then he'll Crusade again. Blood token, he'll immediately get rid of it, and the skeletons are coming from the left, so he'll put the wall that way. Now, he's barely closer to the spider than he was, so I think he would Crusade into here and then spend his last one to prepare. So can the skeletons even get to him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they can't even reach him, so never mind. He'll spend his last cube to run and say hi to the spider. Oh, wait, silly me, I never spawned a Stabby, so maybe he won't do that. Yeah, never mind. Stabby's right here, and he could get him, so he'll be back here with 1 defense. And he's getting a 3rd Fury. Going to be tough for the spider to stay away from him one more turn. But first, we come back to the skeletons, and remember, none of them can reach him this turn, so they're going to first try to get some gear and treasure and then menace him. But they can't reach the treasure, so I guess they'll both just go 1, 2, 1, 2. But Stabby's got 6 move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, maybe the Manor would not have done that, but too late. So the treasure gets them to 4, and they get 2 out of the remaining 3 gear cards. They'll stop doing that and go into armories once they have all of them. So shooting we don't have yet, but now he can shoot from farther away. Oh, and Screaming now has 1 more defense. He's going to be harder for people to defeat. By the way, I didn't mention, but whenever a skeleton is respawned from being hit or by attacking the Paladin, they go to the leftmost spot in the order. So actually, Cassie should be there, because Screamy would have gone left first, but then when the spider ate Cassie, it would be like that. And oh, they're ramping up quickly. Look, they have Slashy, who immediately gets his Great Axe. Slashy can spend 1 stability to get 2 strength instead of 1, so he can do more damage all by himself. And with the Great Axe, he doesn't have to spend 1 stability to attack. Alright, the spider's got 7 cards right now, and nothing much for him to do except reveal. Okay, just a pit. And then the armory. He's just going to move away from the Paladin, probably try to lay an egg. Revealing again. Ooh, a treasure. Never mind. I guess he'll be going to grab that. Oh my gosh, and blood. So regains 1 immediately and puts 1 on the spot. Now, treasures are his bigger priority because 2 of them gives him 1 terror. This is kind of like an amalgamation of the rules for spiderlings, these little spiders, and how they pick up treasure. So he'll go 1 up to the treasure. And, oh, he's got 3 left, but he can't put an egg anyway, so he'll get the treasure. And the first treasure he gets goes on his player board. When he gets a second one, he discards them both and gains a terror. He's got 2 cards left. I guess he'll reveal that other tile, or I guess both of these. And it's another treasure, and he didn't cross a wall yet, so he could get that. And then a Poltergeist. And since he's so far away, he's immediately going to kill that Poltergeist for another blood. Which means he's got 3 blood and no eggs to put him on, so he's going to spend the 3 to gain a terror at the start of his turn. And if he's the first one to get to that treasure chest, he might get another terror. Okay, meanwhile, the Manor, another 1 seal and a portent. Man, this one looks pretty easy to do, potentially. Oh yeah, and indeed it is, because with his swap action, he can swap and or rotate any tiles within a certain number of spaces. In this case, he could rotate the tile that he's on, rotate this tile, and have a straight shot for the card. So he'll definitely do the swap. He's got the free shift. And I think I said that he always places walls when he has extra things, then I think I forgot to place the walls. So let's go ahead and place some walls. So first the shift, maybe I'm making the automa too intelligent here, but I think it's pretty obvious that he would just shift this Warlock. Sorry, buddy. I guess you're not going to be able to get the Poltergeist and the treasure chest with your crazy number of curses this turn. And then for the swap, again, he's just going to rotate, so he can do it however he likes, but that will make it work. All right, now I still got to place the 2 walls for my extra actions. And the spider and the skeletons are the ones that are furthest ahead at the moment. So let's see, I guess they could mess up the skeletons by blocking their easy way to the Paladin. And let's slow down the spider by forcing him to crawl over 2 walls, which he can't do if he wants to get that treasure. And how about you, Mr. Warlock? You still feeling sad that he got moved by the ghost? So he's no longer next to the treasure or the poltergeist, so he can't put down his curses yet. So I think he's going to make some stuff. He can summon a poltergeist. And the automa always wants to make poltergeists before treasures because every one of them that's within his network, which means like the surrounding spaces of him and then kind of cascading out from there. They'll give free curses to any treasure chest he summons. So we will conjure treasure for a second one. And that can go right here. And then because there's 2 poltergeists, that gets 2 curses for free. And then I think for the last action, he'll sneak into the corner so he can't get moved away as well. I don't know if I have that exactly written in the automa rules, but it seems to make sense. All right, how about the Paladin? He's got 4 cubes. He's got a bunch of fury. So I have to assume he can reach the spider. You could sprint 1, sprint 2, charge in. Yeah, so he will attack this turn. So sprint moves him 2, that's 1. Sprint again, that's 2. Third of 4 cubes will be the Crusade. That's going into attack. Spider has 2 defense, so he gets to get to 3 strength. He's got 1 cube left. He always wants to use that first, and then he needs to use 2 of his fury. That's +1 temporary strength for each. And that does still count as a hit, so he's going to get a light. Here's the big thing. Whenever the spider is hit, they lose one of their 5 spiderlings. This is another form, which they actually do use sort of with the automa. They're going to use it right now. And then it gets to put each of the remaining spiderlings on adjacent spaces, kind of chaining away. The automa prefers to go towards the center, across walls when possible, and through lit spaces, because they're going to put down some webs in a second. So I guess it would be like that. And the giant spider form comes off for now. It'll replace the farthest spiderling from the Paladin in a moment. As for the skeletons, I must have forgotten to get to the stability last turn, because clearly they wouldn't only have 1. It's going to be Casty, then Screamy, Stabby, Slashy. And clearly there's no way any of them are getting to the Paladin, so they want to go to the armories for their very last gear card. Also want to get treasures if they can. And they want to avoid fighting Poltergeist if possible, because it gains them nothing, which means they can't get to that treasure chest. So Cassie will run up to the armory closest to the Paladin and get the last gear card, which is his own. Now he can make 2 range attacks. And now with no reachable treasures and the Paladin out of reach, the skeletons are just going to try to go as close to the center as they can, going to dark tiles and pits and crypts so they don't lose any stability. But they want to spread out to cover multiple possible paths of the Paladin, and they don't want to make themselves easy targets, so they won't end up adjacent to a figure that could attack them, like the spider, and they also won't end adjacent to any other skeletons. So Screamy... I guess he can't get through there, can he? Well, that's okay. 1 action skeletons can take is to teleport from a pit, but actually he doesn't want to be next to the spider, so he's happy there. Stabby, I guess that would be closest to the center. Oh no, I did it again. I didn't roll for Slashy. He's in 5. So I guess he'll go through here and get rid of the blood token. And then this would be the best spot he could reach. And hey, they do have 3 stability, so they're going to summon their last skeleton and then go back to 2, and I'll actually roll for him this time. And that's Shooty, who can usually attack 2 spaces away, but with the longbow he can attack 2 to 4 spaces, although they have to all be in a straight line with no walls and all flipped, all visible. And he's going into 5 as well. Alright, so for the automa, once they've been hit, they take a single action, one of their 7 cards, to put down a web on all of their spiderling locations. When they're actually turning into spiderlings, that's something they do pretty frequently, lay down a ton of webs. And then, kind of taking things a bit out of order, they replace their furthest from the Paladin spider with the giant spider. All right, let's see. The spider's already far enough away from the Paladin, but remember, he doesn't have anything else to do. He's going to move even further. So I think he's going to go kind of this way and attack some skeletons, maybe lay an egg. We'll see. So 1 card to move, 1 to fang this guy. Oh, wait, before that, I forgot I had 3 bloods. So I'm up to 3 terror. And now, fanging that guy, got another blood. Now, with 4 cards left, it's about to do the egg check, and it hasn't done wall walk yet, so let's say they do that. Then 3 cards, they will spend 2. I guess these are kind of equidistant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, egg there. And since they're certainly far away enough, they'll spend their last card to put 2 webs on that. And with 3 terror, they're going back up to 7 cards. Moving back to our friendly Manor. Ooh, you know, I did put down the portent and the second seal. I didn't show that, but I just realized I never put a treasure down. How well? We'll remember this time. What's our new card? Ooh, 2 seals. Let's see where this might work. So let's see. Boop, 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 boop. So with how things are currently, this tile wouldn't allow him to go north, and this tile wouldn't allow him to go west, and that tile's not even revealed, and there's a skeleton on it. So yeah, this is a rough one. I guess they could swap those two. Actually, you know what? I think they'll have potentially an easier time if I rotate it and they go bloop, 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 bloop. They just need to swap these and reveal those and move over there. Now, they're not going to be able to do that this turn, but they can at least get a start on it. Now, I did give the automa an order for what they should do, but I guess highest kind of makes sense. So let's say they'll reveal and swap, and they'll move the wraith later. And this will hang out for next turn. So they're going to reveal these two, and they want to make them go straight south. Oh no, a poltergeist, but they can put it wherever they want. And at the moment, the spider and the paladin are kind of winning, but they can both benefit from poltergeists. So I don't know, maybe it just goes kind of out of the way down here. All right, and the second revealed tile. Oh, interesting. It's a treasure. Which does mean, funnily enough, it's going to be in the Warlock's network. That's going to kind of mess him up. You'll see in a second. Now they get a shift, which can also be used to rotate. And I think the spider is kind of doing the best. So let's just give the spider some walls to go over. And then the swapping to make the pattern possible next turn will be like that. And finally, one wall, and I think the Paladin's in second place by the Manor's approximation, so we'll just wall him in there and force him to waste some fury. And this time we will place a treasure, but gosh, there aren't that many dark tiles to do it on. I mean, this is the furthest from anybody, so I guess that's the best one. Okay, Warlock finally gets to curse some things and try to dominate them to get closer to winning, but it's not going to work out quite the way he wanted. Because whatever curses he spends, he has to evenly split among his entire network, which keeps on going like diagonally and orthogonally from all the other pieces. So, oh my gosh, it goes all the way out to all of these poltergeists. What are you doing, man? Are you dummy? So he's got 10 curses, but 3, 6, 8 pieces. So he has to put one underneath every single one, which in a way is good because remember when these are removed by somebody, then he's going to level up and get on his magic track. Then he's got 2 more that he can divide up again. And he wants to get the most on a single object. I guess the rest he would put on the object furthest from somebody, which will be this treasure. And then he is going to dominate this one, which has 4 tokens. He goes for the rightmost space he can fill. So here, 4 curses. He's now got a 4th magic cube each turn. And let's see, looks like the best he can do is to sneak here, siphon twice with 2 adjacent figures. That'll get him 4 curses. And then I guess sneak back so he can't get hit. By the way, I'll freely tell you, you're probably kind of seeing this, the Warlock is the role that I'm least confident with for the automa, because the other automa don't have it in their programming to go and mess with him if he's doing stuff like this. They tend to somewhat single-mindedly pursue their own interests, so with a player this would be okay, but right now this guy might just run away with the game while he bounces back and forth and no one bothers him. Alright, we're back to our friend the Paladin. Clearly he can't reach the spider, so he's going to go into his gain the most grit while getting toward the spider mode, which definitely means he's going to spend his 1 fury to make a hole in that wall and get that treasure chest. So then for his first of 4 actions, he'll go ahead and crusade in there. He removes the web, and normally when the Paladin gets a treasure chest, he actually gets to draw some treasure cards, but for the AI, he just gains 5 grit, which is always an alternative option. So that brings him past his next hero cube. He now has 5 all the way up to 20. But then he can't break the wall to the next treasure chest, so I guess he's just going to crusade a bunch because the webs will slow down his movement. Although he is removing them. Now let's see, would he sprint to the web or just crusade to the shrine? I think he would crusade because shrines give him light or fury. He takes whichever one he has less of, preferring fury. Oh, you know, when he had a light, I guess he would have left it, I don't know, in the pit or somewhere back there. And for his final action, because there are certainly skeletons all around, he'll get at least 1 defense. Speaking of skeletons, I gotta imagine they can hit the guy. Why is Screamy off the board? What am I doing? I don't know where he's supposed to be. I'm gonna roll a die on 2. Okay, so let's see. If the Paladin already only has 1 defense, that means Stabby is going to boost any skeleton that can get to him. So Casty is first. 1, 2, 3, 4. The web would stop him. Oh, and then there's a wall anyway. But then Screamy's next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you know what? This actually gives me an idea. I think Cassie's going to go here and spend 1 stability for the breach action, because that'll let him put a hole in the wall. Then on Screamy's turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he can come in. It is going to cost their last stability, and he'll get knocked off to the 6 spawn spot, but the Paladin goes down to 5. Alright, then Stabby's next with his 6 movement. Oh, and since we don't have the stability to hurt the Paladin anymore, let's get some more stability. 1, 2, 3, loot that treasure chest for 2. Okay, but now can Slashy or anybody else actually reach the Paladin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no. Oh, wait, I do see a way for them to get another hit off. If Slashy goes here, he can break the wall. That's 1 of our 2 stability from the treasure chest. Because then Shooty can go 1, 2 with his longbow, shoot all the way there. Doesn't remove him when you do a range attack, but stability still goes down to 0 for the strike. And they don't have anybody to summon, so they're going to go back up to 2. But they got the Paladin to 4 life, so they're definitely the front runners now. But how about our giant spider? You know, I guess he would have tended the egg and put 1 blood there last turn. Well, it's definitely closer to the Paladin than it wants to be. It also wants to tend the egg, so I guess it would be 1 web action to put it there. And he'd probably spread them out, I guess. 2 to move across the wall. 3, the Warlock will like this to blow up 2 of these poltergeists, which gets rid of the curses under him. That gets 2 blood for the spider, which will let it hatch the egg in a second. But the Warlock, remember, whenever he gets knocked or one of his things gets gone, he gets to increase this. So he's going to get 2 spell cards. He'll have them both available, but he can only play 1 per turn, so he'll just play the leftmost one at the beginning of his next turn. Alright, the spider's down to 3 cards, but definitely not far enough away from the Paladin, so going to keep on moving. But it can't go across walls again, so it's just going to go over here. By the way, it killed another poltergeist the previous turn, right? Oh, Warlock. So with the last 2 cards, I guess the best I can do is reveal this, and then move on there. Then it's going to spend its 2 blood with the 3 webs already there, and the other blood, the egg hatches. And the spider's up to 5 terror, still getting 7 cards, but now 3 defense, tougher for the Paladin to hit. Now we get over to our Wraith, and oh my gosh, the situation got way worse. The skeletons are all up in where the Wraith wanted to go. Let's see, how would this go? Boop, 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 boop. See, actually, if they just rotated that and that and that, can they rotate 3 things? No. Oh wait, they don't have to rotate this one. It's already good to go. So we need 1 action to move. The free shift will rotate that. The swap can take care of this. So we need swap, we need to move the Wraith, and I guess the last one, let's place another wall. So shifting this one just to rotate it. And then swapping, I guess we could just swap these ones. It doesn't much matter, and I'm not sure what he would prefer anyway. And finally moving, just moving up 1 space. And let's just check this. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yep. First he's going to set up 2 walls, and definitely spiders and skeletons winning at the moment. So it seems like maybe blocking up there for the skeletons. That'll get rid of half of their people. And by the way, there should be a dark tile here since they broke the wall there. As for the spider, how to slow it down. I mean, a wall here could do something along those lines. But now for the actual ritual. And he doesn't remove anything because he is just a ghost. But it gets the Manor to 4 seals out of 14. Not too bad. Nice to put down a treasure. I think the Paladin's slightly in last place, so I guess giving him the chance to get it is the best we can do, because everyone can reach a treasure right now. Okay, how about you, Warlock? Nobody bothered you. You have 4 curses and 4 things in your network, so I guess they're all just getting 1. Although, ooh, that does get a 3rd for this treasure, so that's going to get dominated, which means now his sneak action moves him 3 spaces instead of 2. And he gets his first spell, which says poltergeists have 2 defense, so it's harder for the other players to take them out. Okay, in 4 cubes, he needs some more curses. And let's see, he wants to get as many curses as possible while still staying away from people. So I think actually he would just use 3 to siphon from this guy and then sneak right over to there next to his stuff. Back to the Paladin, he's got 2 rage, so he could bust through that wall or that wall. He could bust through that wall. With 5 cubes, let's see, Crusade, Sprint with busting through the wall, Crusade again. He would have 2 cubes left, but no raid, so he couldn't hurt the spider. All right, so I think he's just going to try to level up, so he'll definitely use a Fury to break through there. And then Crusade in for the treasure chest. He'll get rid of the blood as he comes in. So that's a whopping 7 more grit, which means he gets his 2nd card. And now when he gets a treasure chest, he'll get 2 light and 2 fury, but not 5 grit. But hey, he needs that to kill the spider. All right, now he'll sprint, spending a 2nd fury to get rid of that. Boop, down he goes. He's got 3 cubes left. He wants to get as much grit as possible. I guess he'll go in here. And oh no, it's a poltergeist. And now that they have 2 defense with his 2 final cubes, he can't hurt it. So I guess he'll just prepare both of those, but he actually bounces back to here. He does still get the 2 grit for revealing a tile, but man, if he'd gotten the 3 from the poltergeist, he would have gotten another hero cube and kept going. So here he is, better defense this time, and a fury token. Right, as for the skeletons, can we get 3 of them to attack? They have 2 stability, and they don't lose any because they're all wisely on dark tiles or pits. All right, so Shooty's first. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. All those webs are going to slow him down. Actually, Shooty could teleport from a pit to another one to help somebody else fight. And I guess Screamy could do the same thing, so that would give +2 attack. And then Cassie could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, he could run in and hit him. And oh gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stabby can as well. Oh man, Manor, you did not block the right wall. That would have been much better. All right, well, this might end pretty quickly. So yeah, Shooty's going to use a little teleport action to pop over here. And Screamy will do the same thing. Boop. Casty, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop. Costs 1 of the 2 stability. Well, actually, that's right. He can make a range attack now, so I guess he would go here rather than popping. And Stabby, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can also get in there for the last of their stability. But that gets the Paladin down to 2 health. Whoa! Where's Stabby going? 3, that's up north. And then Slashy clearly can't attack. He can't reach a treasure chest to loot because of the webs. So he's just going to go to a pit as close to the center as he can to prepare for next time. Okay, now the giant spider's in a bit of trouble. It wants to get away from the paladin. I mean, what, he's got 5 cubes, so at least 4 tiles away. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not even possible in the corner, so the spider's going to try to kind of break away. I guess that's the only place that would really allow him to. But he should be able to do some damage. He's going to go ahead and do the first card to hit the poltergeist and the shooty skeleton. It's getting him 2 blood. And shooty rolls the same spawn as Stabby. That should help the paladin stay alive a bit. Okay, and then he needs to move and move again for 2 cards. I guess he would want to loot that treasure chest. So third, that'll be his 1 wall move. Although then he's kind of trapped. Yeah, and he can't get as far away as he wants. So never mind, he'll go down here, get rid of the lamp. And then, hey, he'll move on to the Warlock, which gives him another spell to choose from, but also takes away some of his curses. And he has to pop 2 away, so he'll go over here. And he has 3 curses. He loses half rounded up down to only 1. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so he is as far as he wants to be. But he still can't go get the treasure chest because that would get him too close again. So I guess he'll bleed the poltergeist, give the Warlock more spells. And then he'll just move in here. Yeah, it wasn't too terrible. It definitely messed up the Warlock's plan some. How about you, Manor? How many seals are you going for? Ooh, 3? That seems like it's going to be impossible. Let's see, I guess if he stayed where he was, he could go boop, boop, boop. We'd have to swap the Paladin out of there. Boop, we'd have to rotate that. So I guess we'll just prep to do it for next turn. So the best way for them to prep, definitely need to swap. And I think some reveals just to set things up potentially. Because you can reveal this to give him some more options, okay? And then reveal the new one as well. All right, lots of things to swap in there. Speaking of swapping, he wants the Paladin like up there or something. Although, gosh, would the automa care about the 85 million skeletons? Maybe not. Well, no, I mean, I guess he's not going to do it this turn. He knows the Paladin will move, so the automa could be smarter than that. So I guess maybe he'd try to mess up the skeletons who are winning and swap them away from the Paladin and kind of block them up. And same thing with walls. We can just kind of shut off this entire corner. And that's right, he had to shift, which could do that. And that then, if this is a good tile, gives him a pretty good chance of being able to do his 3 seal thing, get halfway to winning. Now let's put down a treasure, and this time it looks like it's pretty easy to put it far away from everyone. Maybe only the skeletons might care enough to get it. All right, back to the Warlock. He's got 1 curse. Both these guys have 2 under them. I guess he'll make it 3. Not enough to get another domination. But he does get another spell. Siphon Specialize. Each time you siphon from figures of only 1 player, you gain double the curses. Uh-oh. Well, that's going to work out well, because he can siphon the spider 3 times and then run up and still be next to these things. That would get him 6 curses, and then... yeah, I mean, I guess he knows the spider's probably going to blow it up, or he doesn't, because he's just still on top of it. He doesn't know anything. And now back to the Paladin, who has 5 Qs, almost 6. Seems like he should be able to hit the spider this turn. Sprint. Sprint, yup. Yeah, that's 1 action, 2 actions. And then he has just enough he can crusade into its space, get 2 strength from that, and his 1 fury from the end of last turn, boom. So that'll kill a second spiderling. There's only 3 left, and they do their little runaway thing immediately. Now, let's see, they want to go toward the center, they want to cross walls, so I guess either of those would work. Oh no, this one would let them cross 2 walls, so there they go. And that's another light for the Paladin. Oh gosh, the skeletons. They have no chance of getting to anyone, I think. Shooty and Stabby are first, so they are way out of the way. So the best they can do in terms of centralized spaces, he can reach there. Oh, and Stabby can reach there and teleport. And they do go into spots of other skeletons that are going to get out of the way, most likely, so I guess he'll go there. And gosh, Cassie is like totally trapped. In fact, he is totally trapped, so oops. You know what? Cassie's starting on a lit tile, so it actually go down to 1 stability. I think Cassie's going to use another one just to free himself up because he's totally trapped. Alright, Screamy will go to another pit farther away from the others. And Slashy, I guess, will do the same. You know, while he's at it, he could get rid of this lamp, and that's actually a better spot for him. Alright, then Giant Spider pops over here. Oh, that's right. After spending a card to put webs in all the spaces, 6 webs can get them a terrace, but just need 1 more. It should be pretty easy to escape from the Paladin, so I guess he's probably going to kill a ton of skeletons. They did not place themselves well. Maybe the automa's a little bit too dumb with that. So that's 1 blood. Bye-bye, Screamy. And then I guess 2 moves to here. And they'll check for eggs, but no, they can't get on a space further from the Paladin, so they'll just bleed some more skeletons. Bye-bye, Shooty and Casty. And then I guess like here and get another blood. Oh my gosh. Now it's got 6, enough for 2 consecutive turns of adding terror. Not bad. And as a side benefit, it kind of messed up the skeleton plans. Oh my gosh, there are 3 of them on 1 spawn point. Ooh, but look, the manor is basically free and clear. Boop, boop, boop. Gotta reveal that. And just hope that it has a corner, so I guess it would also like prepare a swap or something to make sure it'll work out. So yeah, 2 reveals, a swap, and the free shift should take care of it. So first reveal, the one that they really care about. Oh, that's definitely going to need to get swapped. And second reveal, this one doesn't really matter because they can reach it no matter what. And then, let's see, they don't want to help the spider by swapping her out of the way, so there they go. And here it goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait. Did I swap the totally wrong thing? Yeah, I did. Silly me. I meant to do that one. That's right, it has to rotate towards an open end. There's a lot of treasure over there. But yes, here we go. Boop, 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 boop. And leaves a poltergeist down here that's becoming another little Warlock's paradise over there. Now we just placed a wall, but that's 3 seals. But yeah, they have to place a wall, and they still want to mess up the skeletons. So I guess like here would kind of do it because they'll either have to move into the poltergeist and fight a fight that would kill them, or have to break through the wall. Then the automa has to place another treasure chest as if there weren't enough floating around. Man, everyone's kind of close to winning. I guess, like, maybe all the way up there, out of the way, so the skeleton wouldn't be attacking anybody. Oh, and Warlock is about to jump ahead. It's got 3 curses, so 3 on each of these. Wow, that is 5. And that is 6? Are you kidding? Oh, man, yeah, like I said, the automa doesn't seem to deal with their stuff well enough. Boom and boom. They now only lose 1 curse when someone goes into their space, and they've got 5 magic cubes. And they got another magic card. Refuel. Each time you curse at least 2 pieces at once, gain 2 curses. It would have been great a second ago. And oh god, no. Tell me this is not right. Does that count as within the diagonal? I think it does. So that's going to be 4 for each siphon action? That's so silly. That can't be right. Well, whatever. Okay, so 4, 8, 12 curses? No, he doesn't need that much. The automa knows that it needs to win, so I guess like 8 curses would be enough. Then it wants to sneak away and summon something, or to sneak to a place that already has a lot of stuff. It looks like Treasure Land over here fits the bill. So each sneak lets him move 3 now, but he has to go to a pit. So he could go 1, 2, 3 for the first sneak. I don't know, where can he go for the second one? I guess actually you can go to that treasure chest, right? 1, 2, 3. And then I guess the automa would summon a poltergeist for the last action. That seems to make sense. So he's definitely about to win, so maybe the other automa will try to stop him. I didn't really put that in the rules. Maybe I'll add it. But the Paladin is super far away. I don't think he can hurt the spider this turn either. So he'll just try to get grit, which I think means killing that poltergeist. So a sprint will get him here. And then actually you could sprint with a light straight through this space. He will do that with his lamp. He'll do that with his light if it helps him get closer to the spider. Oh, that's right. The poltergeists have 2 defense now. So 3 actions left. I guess he's going to try to get a treasure chest. Because does that leave him closer than he was? I think it does. So sure, Crusade to here, and then I guess Crusade back. And it's a pit. So that got him 2 grit from revealing, but now because of dedication, he's not going to get 5 more. He's just going to get 2 light and 2 fury. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't have to put anything in prepare, because I don't think the skeletons can even reach him. So there we go. Speaking of the skeletons, man, they're kind of a mess, aren't they? All right, so the best they can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then they can teleport. So they don't want to be near the spider. Shooty can go here, and I guess Stabby can go. Everything's next to somebody. Over here. Casty can pop over here. Screamy's up there by himself, so I guess like that's the best that he would do. Oh, no, wait. He can get this treasure that the guy's about to curse, although it's not going to help stop the other guy. And then Slashy. Where can you go, Slashy? I guess as a worst case scenario, you can spend 1 stability to break that wall. I don't know. So they're up to a lot of stability. They could potentially hit the Paladin really hard next turn, although all the webs and stuff are going to mess him up. All right, now over to Giant Spider. Has 3 blood, actually 6, but spending 3 once per turn to get up to 6 terror. She's now allowed 8 cards every turn, if there is another turn. So let's see, with 7 cards, 1, 2 to attack, 3, 4 to attack, 5, 6, 7 to attack. That sounds good to me. They'll use all their cards, they'll get 3 blood, and they'll take away the poltergeist that would have let the Warlock win. And on to the Manor. Oh, so many different people to run. Okay, gonna get a Portent. This one would normally let him draw a card every turn, but he gets a card anyway, so I just made it do 2 seals instead of 1. Man, it's so easy to do. I gotta imagine we'll have that immediately. It looks like I would need to swap some tiles, because this one doesn't curve right, but then also like move or get rid of the poltergeist. Yeah, I can't do it that way. Okay. So yeah, I think he needs to move, he needs to swap, and I don't know, maybe try to mess up the Warlock, who's about to potentially win. All right, so we can shift to tile 4 first, I think, just like getting the Warlock out of there. Does that actually help? Maybe that helps the Warlock, I don't know. The most important one is the swap, get out of here, poltergeist, like that would work. And then he's going to move there to get that ready. He gets to place a wall, which I guess is still going to target the skeletons. Let's see, this being a smart player, we know the Paladin's going to head toward the spider. So maybe like re-blocking up this guy, I don't know. Yeah, again, this is where you have to make a lot of judgment calls. I guess he doesn't want to block up somebody that's already on a dark tile. Where you can block this guy from getting anywhere at all until he wastes an action just breaking down the wall. And the treasure lord, I don't know, back here. And then bloop. Where's your little poltergeist? Right there. He's up to 9, so almost everyone is close to winning, except the Paladin is kind of lagging behind. Well, I guess the giant spider is only halfway to winning. Like I said, that was a tough one to balance. Alright, you crazy Warlock, you can't curse anything. You don't have any spells to play, but you've got a billion things here. Alright, so he wants to set up a good network. What would the AI do? Has the curses, it just wants to like spawn some things. So I guess maybe sneak into here, always wants to make poltergeist first, so second action, he'll make a poltergeist there. Third action, I guess, can make a poltergeist here. Oh my gosh, and then can make a treasure chest that already has 4 curses on it unless somebody takes it. Because you can't even see, but there's a 4th poltergeist down here. I mean, I'm sure the skeletons will grab that, maybe, we'll see. Yeah, I'm not even sure what he would do with the last action, I guess he just won't use it. And how about the Paladin? Gosh, he is very far away. Let's see, how far could he get to the spider? He could sprint to here. He's got a ton of fury, so break down the wall, and then sprint again using a light to get rid of the first web. Sprint again to get there, and then charge in. But then I don't think he'd have enough fury to overcome the defense. Alright, well, if he can't reach the spider, we know that he wants grit. So a sprint to here, and then a fury to break the wall, and a crusade into there. And he actually does have 3 cubes to defeat this guy straight up to get a grit. Or sorry, I should say 3 grit, which gets him his second to last hero cube. Oh, and he should leave a lamp here, because it's a pit. And then for his last crusade, he'll go in and get 3 more grit, I guess. So he's 4 grit away from his last level up, a final hero cube. It might be tough for the skeletons to hit this turn. He's got 3 preparations, so they would need 4 attack. And for next turn, he's got 3 fury, 3 light. I might be getting to that spider. Okay, how about y'all? Shooty, and then slashy, stabby, casty, screamy. So because he put the lamp there with his skill, they can't teleport there. Screamy can definitely get to him. Shooty can definitely get to him, and stabby can. That's only 3 attack, not quite enough. Oh wait, I think Screamy can hit him once. Let's see if we can make this work. Okay, so Shooty goes here for +1 attack. Slashy is next, and man, can he not do much of anything. I guess I'll just clear away this web. Stabby will make himself super vulnerable, but get the +1 attack there. And Cassie is the key player here. He's going to teleport to that pin, I believe, before his turn ends. He can spend 1 stability to use his power to put a cackling skull down on adjacent space. So now that's +3 attack on the Paladin. And Screamy's going to scream his way on in. Rah! It's another stability, and they're going to lose some more if they aren't knocked out of the spaces they're on. Screamy pops over to 5. They're back up to 5 stability. But the big thing is, oh my gosh, Paladin, you're about to die. As for the giant spider, going to spend 3 more blood up to 7 terror. You know what I just realized? Should the skeletons have gone for the treasure chest? Now, I mean, the automa has to go for victory, right? They can't, always be trying to stop another player. They'll have to leave it to the Manor to move the Warlock away from there. Alright, Spider's got 8 cards this turn. It wants to be at least 4 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, away from the Paladin. Seems like an egg thing is kind of likely, right? So maybe 1, 2, 3 to bleed that guy. And actually, she has too many cards, so before she went there, could have gone 1, 2, 3, but then, no, wouldn't have enough to lay eggs. So I don't know how smart the automa would be here, but let's say 2 to lay an egg. 2 more to put down max webs. Not much the spider can do with the last card, but 3 blood to hatch that egg. Alright, so the spider's up to 9, close to victory as well. How about the Manor? What? That is a little crazy. But actually, maybe not too crazy. Move there for 1 action. Rotate that with the free shift. Swap that for another tile. I think that'll be it. Alright, so first is the shift, just going to rotate that one. Then is the swap. I guess we want to get this guy away from the Paladin, right? Don't want to help other players, so like that. Enough to place 2 walls, but oh my gosh, who do you place walls on? Well, the skeletons are the closest to winning, and so is the Warlock. So I don't know, maybe block up one of the skeletons or something? And then the Wraith moves here, and bloop! Gets them to 11, 3 from winning, possibly 1 more card. And he has to place a treasure, oh my gosh, I don't know. And then we get to the Warlock. Oh no! The Warlock! No! He's got curses for days. I mean, he already had a treasure chest, but I forgot. Oh my gosh. It was your job, Manor. You forgot. You were so interested in victory. So yeah, there we go. The Warlock gets it. But still, that went pretty well. The Paladin would have been able to hit the spider at least once, maybe twice this turn. That would have put him within maybe 1 space of winning. The skeletons were already within 1 space of winning. The giant spider was 3 terror away. The Manor was 1 or 2 cards away. Now, I freely admit, and I'm sure you can tell from watching, this variant has flaws. It puts a lot of onus on the player, but still the fact that you can kind of run some separate factions I think works well. And honestly, if you take away the Manor and the Warlock, or have those be player-controlled, the Paladin, the Skeletons, and the Giant Spider, those three together, they tend to lead to some pretty tight games in my testing. So I think those three work well. The Manor and Warlock, I'll say use at your own risk a bit. But thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think, especially if you've played Vast and Mysterious Manor. Good gaming, and we'll see you at the next stop with another solo variant for something soon. I'm working on a few.